Good morning, everyone. It is October the 17th, 2024. I've got a little bit of an update on the last weekend mayhem, my last video there, and all the uproar and the fires that were being set down here in Lower Town as well. And so I'm going to go into what my title is. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and this I'm going back into, as I've explained in previous videos, that being in social housing, and all summer they have been putting cameras in our building as well. And I just wanted to update people just how much the cameras are worth having. With the mayhem that was going on the weekend, the cameras were able to settle a lot of the problems that we were having. They put people in the right place at the right time, and were a great deal of help to the police as well. So I'm going to go into sort of what went wrong, and a little bit of a mix-up, which the cameras helped also sort out. Because when the dumpster was put on fire in the back, and I was talking to the other tenant at that time, the cameras were also on us as well. So they got a good shot of possibly who actually put the dumpster on fire, as well as the box behind on the building, which was apparently the phone lines and some cable lines as well into the building. So I'm going to start with my waking up again, coming out, smelling smoke or something burning out of my apartment. As I said, I was on the upper floors trying to sort things out. The fire department was running back and forth. They were looking for the fire. We couldn't find a fire in the building from what I gathered. And then the other tenant, who was down at the dumpster with me, was telling me he thought it was a homeless person too who set the fire alarms off. So this is what, of course, I reported to you. That was the information that was coming in at the time. And then later we found out on some of the lower floors, they were smelling this burning, something burning as well. And some of the tenants were running also all over the building trying to find out where it was. And since it didn't seem to be inside, a couple of tenants apparently went outside the building to discover the box on fire. And at that time, they called 911, and they were told to go inside and pull the alarms. So the cameras have the person from the building, the tenant, pulling the alarm to wake us all up, because 911 wanted to make sure everyone in the building was waking up at the time. So that clarified where that came from. But we had two fires here. There was numerous boxes apparently set on fire. One empty house, full house. Another few people are put out of homeless now too. But the fire started from the outside, so again, it's being investigated. Was it arson? We don't know yet on that one. What was going on across the street? The cameras outside showed that beautifully, which was a great help. And like I said, we had the police were coming over to our side because the homeless people were running onto our side of the street as well. And so the police were coming because they wanted to start questioning some of the people that were filtrating over to our building and trying to possibly get into our building at the same time. Well, I'm standing out there with the other tenant as well as our security. And when I talked about the girl with the dirty looks, this is what happened. And just to give you a little more detail and information on that happened, was that she came up to us. She was walking down our lawn, came up to the tenant and I, asked first if he had a smoke, and he said no. And then she asked me if I had a smoke, and I said no, I don't smoke. So then she decided, well, she started, this is what got our guard going first, and then he saw that she was bothering us, so he told her that she was on private property and to leave. So she turned around, started to leave. Then she came back and proceeded to try and go in the back of the building to see what was going on, where the fires had been started. So then our security officer turned around, and he again turned around and told her to leave the property, that she was on private property. So when she turned around, she was giving me the dirty looks, at which time, of course, I spoke very sharply to her and said, don't give me dirty looks, young lady. You just keep on walking. And, of course, this was all caught on our cameras very clearly. So it gives you an idea that Everything was in sequence. Everything that was happening was being recorded. Who was in and out of the building prior to the fire starting, who was outside with the cameras, was showing who was, because they're constantly diving into our dumpsters here. We have our dumpster divers, as I've often explained, looking for cans and bottles and that. This time they tried to set it on fire, and I've had previous videos from last year that shows that they did get a fire started, and in one of our recyclable bins, it was burnt to a crisp, the bin, as well as it started a fire on the roof above to a building that was owned by people on the property behind us as well. So the cameras have been very, very good. They've been able to give the police an idea of what happened that night, what was going on and all the confusion, who was coming and going from the building. Because this was so unusual what happened, they were able to, because everything is recorded and kept for a period of time, that they several days even leading up to the fire, they were able to get into films saying who was coming and going, because there was some things happening within the building that were reported as well prior to what was going on last Saturday and Sunday morning. So it was very good, and I know we keep complaining about losing our privacy because of all the cameras going up. But in this case, the cameras worked. Other cameras from our buildings from our social housing here were able to put other people in place as well. So we're getting an idea who's getting into our buildings. And of course, right now, at this time of the year, the apartment takeovers are starting again for the drug dealers. So everything is being photographed right now on camera, and it's really, really good. So I want to give that example of it and the importance, because it's not because, yes, we're losing our privacy because of what's going on. But then on the other hand, we kind of have a choice of, are we really worried about losing our privacy, or are we just worried about making sure without not putting cameras in that we want everything lawless around us? And this was what was kind of happening, because we were having fires set all over the place down here. And thankfully the cameras were working. They helped. They may put individuals who might have been doing this. The police will eventually catch up with them. So that was good. Plus they were getting more film from the doorbell cameras, as I've stated, delivering the echo here downtown, that I'm seeing more cameras going up. So for your house and everything else. And that was more feed for the police, having people with private cameras actually on what was going on our streets, after all of us were definitely wakened up. Certainly, if it wasn't the fire alarms waking us up, it was the police sirens and the fire engine sirens that woke up the whole neighborhood down here as well. So we were all on high alert that night down here. So I wanted to say that this is a good thing. The cameras are not necessarily a bad thing. They're certainly not in our private residences, going on in our apartments and that, seeing what's going on. They're not keeping track of us that way. It's just on the outside hallways, common areas, around the building, to ensure our safety. This is the only way that I can see that we're also going to beat this. But the cameras, I was told, are fabulously working. They're gathering a lot of information off the cameras right now, and everybody's so scared of getting cameras. Well, maybe we shouldn't be quite so scared right now, because with the drug and the opioid crisis that we're in, people are going absolutely nuts. And then I think it's kind of funny, because in a way, I remember the officer saying, well, it's not a full moon tonight, and explaining what the full moon was all about. And I just turned around and I said, no, it's not the full moon, but this is what happens when they get the checks coming in. And this check happened to be the energy rebate that came in that day. So, but also because it was so out of whack, everything, even to when they do get their drugs on paydays, that it was almost like, I'm thinking, what did they put in? The dealers did put in the drugs that day, because everybody was just going totally loopy all over the place. And it took a lot of people, and you know, it was good, because with the cameras say one thing, but the cameras, if there's live witnesses such as ourselves standing there, the cameras help to back everything up. So I'm standing out there. I'm not in the least bit worried, because I know my building cameras on me and on us, and watching at the same time. So this is where it's really, really good. I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't want to make it too long today, but we did have some fires down here. The police are on top of it. We are getting some protection. Thank goodness to our city councilor. I really bless her for getting the funding to get the cameras in our social housing down here. And they are working, and I want to let people know that. The cameras are not a bad thing when something like this is going on, because without the cameras, and we're sleeping, people can come and set fires, and how many lives are we going to lose? Fortunately, we didn't lose any life because of the cameras the other night. So I'm just going to leave it there for today. I've got a lot more to say on this subject, but again, as I say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's an old expression. And the cameras are just showing just how valuable they are, because those pictures are worth 1,000 words, literally. They speak it all, and they back up everything. So they're not to be afraid of as much as we think they are. And it's not because the government wants to spy on us at all. And that's what these spy theories and these ridiculous allegations and all the stuff that comes out of it, that something terrible is about it. In this particular case, it was a good thing that we have them. So when you're looking at the cameras, you really have to look and put on one side, well, this is a negative, but then this is a positive. The positive this time was, thank God we didn't lose any lives because of the cameras. So I praise the cameras for being in place. So I'm going to leave it there, everyone, today. And please be safe, take care, definitely watch your surroundings, and we'll talk again soon. And bye-bye.